What's going on YouTube? Wild Lion Games here. We are now 42 days away from the release of College Football 26. EA just dropped a trailer featuring Enter Sandman by Metallica with some beautiful stadium shots too. The hype train is officially leaving the station, so hop on board now before it's standing room only. Last year, EA released College Football 25 and it became the highest selling sports game of all time, with great reviews across the board, even from harsher critics like myself or Soft Drink TV who hold high expectations for sports video games, and we still had good things to say about it. The game featured all 135 FBS schools, commentary from Kirk Herbstreit, Reese Davis, Chris Fowler, and more. It had a fun dynasty mode with decent recruiting mechanics, and Road to Glory left a lot to be desired, and that mode felt pretty flat, and there were a ton of missing features and a weak soundtrack, but the gameplay itself, the core gameplay, was actually pretty strong. When it came to the on-field product, EA actually did a great job. And now that we have the trailer for College Football 26, along with the first Campus Huddle article, we get our first true look at what's going to be new in College Football 26. Let's talk about what I'm excited about first. Out the gate, it appears that presentation is going to see a pretty substantial overhaul. Enter Sandman's going to be featured. It's probably going to be this year's Mo Bamba, to be honest with you. We got special fireworks shows, dynamic lighting, new mascots, and more than 150 school chants are being added in the game. Also notice new camera angles like Clemson coming out of the bus, and some new aerial shots of stadiums as well. Included with presentations, we are going to see more extreme effects with stadium pulse, and that includes things like clock distortion and more camera shake and heads-up display information. My take from this is clock distortion, I'm assuming, means the clock is probably going to disappear on you at a certain point in the game. Hopefully they tie this in with like quarterback awareness, because as a user, if the clock disappears, it doesn't really matter. You can kind of figure it out. You're not that rattled, but it would be cool if your quarterback's awareness plays into effect of when that clock, how long that clock stays on the field, essentially. It's also been verified with a tweet from Not the Expert, who's played the game already, that College Football 26 will feature dynamic lighting. So the lighting will change throughout the stadium as the game goes on. MLB The Show 25 has this, and it looks awesome, so I'm pumped that we finally get to see it in college football this year too. Coaches are also going to be in the game for the first time ever, I believe. More than 300 coaches will be included in the game with lifelike appearances. Now, do some math here. There's way less schools than that in FBS football, so that leads me to believe that we're maybe also getting like assistant coaches, like offense and defensive coordinators, or potentially even some historical coaches as well that could be implemented into the game. I don't know for sure. I'm just trying to come up with ideas of how there could be 300 real-life coaches in this game. The next big news item that I think a lot of people are going to love is trophy rooms are back. The physical trophy room can be filled with rewards from Dynasty Mode, Road to Glory, online college football playoffs, and rivalry games from Play Now. This was an old feature from the older consoles, and I know that many fans are going to be happy to see this return if done correctly. And when it comes to game modes, College Football 26 has two main ones. I'm not counting Ultimate Team in that two main. I'm ignoring that, but Dynasty Mode and Road to Glory. And we've been able to see a brief preview of what's going to be new in both. In Dynasty Mode, it sounds like we'll have more control over staff management and possibly some new coach abilities. Plus, the transfer portal will be reworked and maybe even more unpredictable than last year's game. There's going to be location-based visits and dynamic deal breakers and trades. Not exactly sure what this means right now, but we'll probably find out in the near future in one of the campus deep dives. The biggest highlight I took away from Dynasty Mode from what we know so far is the addition of crossplay. So we can now play with friends regardless of platform on PS5 or Xbox, and we're able to run up to a 32-person Dynasty Mode together. That is awesome. And then from here, we'll start the transition into what I'm a little worried about with College Football 26, and that is the high school football coming to Road to Glory. Now, I say I'm worried, yes, I'm excited, but I'm also guaranteeing that we're not going to be able to play a full season of high school like we could in NCAA Football 14. If I had to guess, it's going to be like the 4 or 5 games of the state playoffs, and then you start college. And then in college football 27, you'll get to play a full season, and then in college football 28, you'll get to customize your high schools and their schedules like you could do in NCAA Football 14, and we'll finally come around to having all those features again. But anyways, not being too negative here, Road to Glory in last year's College Football 25, it wasn't broken, but the mechanics were just inherently flawed. And adding more mechanics to this mode without fixing the previous issues will only start compounding the problem, and the list of broken mechanics will continue to grow. For example, NIL deals and starting positions aren't based off of performance in Road to Glory. It's based off of your school and the time period of advancement that you are in. I rushed for 4,000 yards and 50 touchdowns and won the Heisman. But the next season, I was all of a sudden the 3rd string running back, and like the coaches just forgot that I just had like the greatest rushing season in history of like everything. NIL deals don't change either. I mean, if someone was putting up numbers like this in real life as a freshman, that player would have every national brand at his doorstep fighting for his name and likeness. But instead, Road to Glory still puts you through the same build-up process of small local brands and then regional, regardless of how you perform on the field. So yes, while I'm looking forward to high school being added in the Road to Glory, along with the new player archetypes and the new recruiting processes, I'm also hoping that our performance will dictate starting position in NIL deals and awards, and not just like hitting different checkpoints along the timeline. But needless to say, yes, I'm really excited for high school being added in this year, even though we all kind of expected it to be here. I think it would have been a big disappointment if it wasn't. And in my opinion, this is a pivotal moment for EA and the college football series. The general consensus across all sports games right now is that we don't need annual releases, that there isn't enough of a difference between titles separated by 12 months. However, we're never going to get biannual releases because these companies just make way too much money from their games to give up a year of revenue. But the college football dev team has an opportunity to rewrite the story for EA and other companies like 2K and San Diego Studios by making drastic changes in this 12-month period. And what I hope to see with all these new features that they've listed is the inclusion of refining the existing features in the game on top of what's being added in this year. You know, new camera angles and new plays are great, as long as we fix the issues with the offensive line and protection and DBs and coverage and things like that. And the commentary issues too. Then I will also welcome those new changes, but I don't want a continuation of like half-baked features on top of half-baked features, if that makes sense. So here's the deal. We all know EA is great at making trailers to hype up their game. They know how to present their games in exciting ways and get fans pumped up, but oftentimes their products fail to deliver those expectations made in the marketing materials. I have high hopes for College Football 26, and I hope I'm taken by surprise with Road to Glory and we do get a full high school season in this year's game, along with better NIL functionality and more accurate depth charts. That's it for me, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a comment below, leave a thumbs up. I'm going to be talking about College Football 26 all summer. I can't wait for it. I still have my concerns, obviously, which I think are valid concerns, but I'm pumped, man. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I hope we get Duke Dog as a new mascot in the game this year. And yeah, that's it for me. Until next time, peace.